Okay, so can we, I know this is the question you probably hate being asked, but the pure energy, uh, where, whose idea was it to incorporate the Star Trek? Was that your thing?
Oh, both Paul and I contributed to that. Was I was the one who was spending hours and hours with a, a mono 1/8-inch cable plugged into an old television set and connected to a cassette tape recorder, and going and recording entire episodes of Star Trek when they aired. I had to wait for them to come on. Remember that? Like, oh, it's
Vividly.
not on right now. We have to wait.
And if it airs at
um,
midnight.
yeah, right. So I'd record episodes of Star Trek, and then I'd take the cassette tapes and I'd play the cassette tape into the sampler and save those off. And I was recording a lot of those, and I just kept thinking, we can use these in songs. And so we started putting some of those things in some of the songs. And when we were in the studio making the first album, we had that in mind, and we pulled them out whenever we thought they might be useful. Who specifically wanted to put that sample and that point in that song? I don't remember. Probably Paul.
Did you have to get Leonard Nimoy's permission, or
No.
the television studio's permission, or?
Yeah, we had to get the permission of Paramount, and we had to pay them.
Yes, of course.
That's a whole story in and of itself.
What do you?
Oh, as it and then I should tell it.
That's how it works.
Well, I'm so used to self-censoring because I will launch off on long anecdotes all the time, and I have to remember not to keep doing that, right? Because it's not very conversational. But this is an interview where you want me to talk, so I'll talk. Right. So we made that album in '87. It didn't come out till '88, which is the whole point of the story. But we made it in '87, and it was the very, very, very early period in the whole, sampling controversy, and nobody really knew what the law was going to end up being, or what people were going to decide. Everyone was still kind of looking at each other going, well, sampling, what should we do about this? What do we think? I don't know. How do you feel about it? And so there was a lot of fear. Nobody wanted to get sued. So we came to Warner Brothers with this finished album, that they had already given us our own money in advance to pay for recording, and it was done. And they're saying, so what are all these recordings of people talking coming from? And we said, it's from Star Trek. And they said, I see. So oh boy. And then they kind of went, oh, I'll have to check with so-and-so in this other department about that. Let me get back to you in 6 weeks. And then, well, I don't know. I have to ask my boss, and 7 weeks later. And then, I don't know. Maybe we could reach out to somebody at Paramount, because they owned the Star Trek episodes, and see what they think. What's Paramount's motivation to return a call from Warner Brothers about some small little deal with, it wasn't worth anyone's time. So we just languished. And we had gone into a live performance blackout in advance of releasing the album, because we wanted to be fresh and ready to go out and tour to promote the album, because that's what you used to do back then. So we weren't playing any shows, and the album didn't come out. We had no income coming in, and it was terrible. And our manager kept calling up Warner Brothers and screaming at them, saying, we're going to do this. But nobody at Warner Brothers could make Paramount do anything. And it wasn't that they said no. It's that nobody wanted to take time out of their day to read a 1-paragraph piece of paper, And there's also a bit of the incentive problem. If somebody asks you if something's okay, if you say no, you're safe. If you say, and then the potential loss is either 0 or something you can't really figure out, so who cares? But if you say yes, something bad might happen, and it'll be your fault. So that's the situation we were up against. So, Act 2. Our A&R guy, Kevin Laffey, by sheer luck and coincidence, happened to be friends with a guy who at the time was working as a lawyer in the music industry, whose name was Adam Nimoy. And yes, he was Leonard's son. Now, at the time, Adam and Leonard's relationship wasn't great, but they weren't not speaking or something. So Kevin asked Adam if Adam could do anything. Like, could he maybe get his dad to talk to somebody at Paramount? And so Adam went to Leonard, and he did. Like, Leonard Nimoy went to Paramount and said, "Can you like get something moving on this band? What's it called? The Information League, I think." Because my son Adam called and said they trying to get a project moving. Can you get somebody to look into that, please? And then everything started turning, and we were fine. Warner Brothers took some of our money and gave it to Paramount, meaning we then, they got taken out of whatever they ever would pay us. And it all worked out.